This program is going to take a phrase from our user, process it, find out how many blank spots there are, and determine how many words are in the phrase. To begin, I've created an integer variable called blank count that's set to 1. This variable will be increased each time we come across a blank spot in our phrase. At the end, I'm going to output the number that's in blank count to tell the user how many words were in their phrase. I'm going to process through the word using a for loop. I've created a new variable called I, starting it at 0, and while I is less than the length of the phrase, we're going to continue through this for loop. And each time through, we're going to increase I by 1. Inside my for loop, I need a way to grab the current character that we're working with in phrase, so I'll create a string variable called sub. Sub will hold a piece of the phrase string from our counter variable to our counter variable plus 1. This lets us pull out each piece of phrase and determine if that spot that we're currently working with is a blank or if it contains a character or a number. And if that substring holds a blank, we're going to increase blank count by 1. But if not, we're just going to continue through our loop until we reach the end of our phrase length. Here's our if statement to check to see what sub currently is each time through. If it is a space, a blank space, we're going to increase blank count by 1 because that means that we've come across another variable. And if it's not a blank, we're just going to continue back up through our for loop, increase I by 1, find the next string, see if it's a blank. Finally, once we reach the end of the phrase, our condition will change from true to false. We'll exit out of our for loop and print out our results of how many words we have. Let's run it and see it in action. Our for loop is working well. It came through here, it grabbed the first substring at 0 to 1, which would be this first one here, and it said, is this a blank? Nope. Okay, let's increase it by 1. And it went to the next one, the U, and then went through again and again and again. Finally, it came across the substring here, which contained a blank. So it increased our blank count to 2. It recognizes that there are now 2 words here. And it added 1 to blank count, and then we continued on until we reached the end of our phrase. And I found a total of 3 words in our phrase. Sometimes you need help troubleshooting as you go through your code, and you can add in system.out statements to help you troubleshoot. I'm going to add one here so I can see what would be in my temporary variable sub. And I'll also add one inside of my if statement so I can see the current value in blank count. Now if I run this again, I can see it's pulling out each character correctly, Billy, and then here's my space. So then it prints out the value in blank count, and then it continues on, and then finally my last system.out.println after the for loop has ended. So you can use these tricks if you're not quite sure if your variables are correct or if you're getting the correct substring. Maybe if I accidentally put in 2 here, I'd want to know what my sub was, because I would have some sort of mistake. And see, I've got an error here because I actually have a string out of range because this 9 is beyond how many characters there are in the length of here. So using your substrings can help you troubleshoot when you have problems or issues. And then whenever you don't need them anymore, you just delete them or you can comment them out and they won't be in your program run the next time through. This program was created so that you could see how to use a loop variable counter to pull out the substring, and how we can also add if statements inside of for loops to process data.